Okay, I want to say hi again everybody. Welcome to another video outside with me, with Richard Clark. In this video I'm going to talk to you very quickly about short range weapons, like short to mid range weapons and long range weapons in terms of martial arts, okay, be it Chinese or Japanese or whatever, okay, but I'm just saying, okay, when we're talking about let's say like in Japanese, okay, now my pronunciation is not perfect, as I say, but you've got like the bow and then the jo, okay, the bow being like the long stick, the long bow staff, which I love, the staff, okay, and then the shorter one, it's like half or much shorter length, like a short stick, is basically called the jo, okay, apparently. But anyway, I think all the training's good for training wise, for learning the techniques, understanding the movements for training, and the science behind it and all the skills. And the same with like swords, knives, and all the different training in the martial arts, the interesting skills and the fighting methods of the ancient ways that were trained. But hi Demsley, my bro, Demsley, okay, was talking about that recently too, saying like it's fascinating, he'd like to know more about the jo and that, because we like the bow staff, the long staff, but the jo is also interesting. That's true, but for me it's like anything, I won't go too deep. I'm just making this a simple video for now, okay guys, I'll make another one. I think they're all good, but it's one of those things, it's like how you generate power as well, and how you generate what kind of techniques, the hard and the soft, and the skills. For a long staff, the bow style, obviously you want to be able to fight in short range and close range with it, okay, long range and short range, anything in between. But with the jo, okay, it's like you can only fight in a shorter range, obviously, a more closer range, obviously, but still, it's it's going to be good. Yeah, you got like poking techniques and stuff. You're blocking, striking. You can use it in close range. But the way I see it is like you got to think of it, man. If it's like a piece of wood, it is what it is. It might be strong, but then again, it depends what you're working with. A thinner one, a lighter one, or a thicker one, a more heavy one. It depends. You know what I mean? It's like if you're talking about in the old days, like the battleground train, like back in the old days, in terms of real combat, if you was really striking and fighting in that way, you know what I'm trying to say? So it's like if you were using if you were back in the old, let's say for example, I'm not promoting violence at all, okay, I'm not at all promoting violence, be it with martial art weapons or any kind of objects attacking people, no way, but I'm just saying, alright, it's like we're talking about sticks, right, and poles, let's say, and things like that, heavy things for hitting. That's what a stick would be used for, just poking, right, like, and then hitting, right, and then of course blocking and stuff like that. But what I'm basically going to say, that my main point, what I'm going to say here basically is it's like, to me, I think if it's in a short range, if we're talking about a shorter range, you can do certain techniques. You can work with the object much easier because it's like smaller and more closer range. Fair enough, but you still got to think about what you're doing. Now, if it was a more heavier thing, let's say, or more like a metal bar, I'm not advising people to bring metal bars around with them, crowbars or poles or anything like that. But I'm saying if it was like a more thicker, more stronger, let's say metal bar, you know what I mean, or something heavy, even, or like a baseball bat, that'd be heavier, gets thicker as it goes along. Fair enough, and there's different kind of maneuvering, but I'm saying then you'd be smashing when you're striking something. You would hit, there'd be no chance of the thing breaking over a strong opponent. It'd be like striking more, so it's like really going to do damage, right? You see what I'm trying to say? So it depends. So with that weapon, I'm not trying to find faults in it, nothing's perfect, but that's what I'm trying to say there. You've got poking techniques, you've got hitting techniques. I think for a jo, maybe, you see what I'm saying, it's more small, it's more subtle, more like easy to use in a close range to work with the combat. The bow staff would be for like longer range, more and short range. Fair enough, but it's like takes more skill to wield, I would say, in some ways. But you can like really whap it as such, like really whip the thing to generate that power into it. You know what I'm saying, with the weight behind it, to get some kind of a more powerful strike when you're hitting. But when you're poking, But with the smaller one, the jo, unless it's like very strong, it depends. You know what I'm trying to say? So why would you hit someone with like a thin piece of stick? As I'm trying to say. I'm not saying they are that thick. I've never actually. It depends which kind you're using. But I'm saying that. But if it was like a more heavier, more solid kind of thing, like a very thick wood, or like a piece of metal or something, you're really, smacking in. That might do damage. You see what I'm trying to say? So what I'm trying to say is you wouldn't want to do fancy Joe movements. You know what I'm saying? Fancy martial art stick movement just to be fun, just to know it. And some thugs are coming after you and they're trying to kill you. They've got knives or whatever, maybe even guns or whatever, or they're trying to attack you and your family. And let's say, for example, even now or in the ancient time, I'm just saying, for hypothetically, I'm just saying here, if someone that was going to really do you in, they were trying to kill you, then if you had, a really heavy a baseball bat or something like that, that would do the job more. When it's something heavy, metal bar, you'd smash it. When you whip it, you'd go in, because you might not be doing pokes all the time. You see what I'm trying to say? You see what I'm trying to say? Whereas if you're using a lighter one, that's not going to do, like a lighter stick, that's not going to do that much damage anyway. For the sake of, it's not going to do much damage anyway. It's like, it might do, but I'm saying you're going to have to generate more power. You're going to have to get more skill, unless you're whipping fair enough. You're going to get. It's just my take on it. I'm just giving you a little talk here, just off out of the top of my head. Okay, I'm just saying. I've been thinking about that since earlier on today, though. It's like if you were going to go in with like a little thin stick, let's say a Joe, a short stick, and just start doing the fancy moves, twirling or trying to do things. Yeah, you can hook people's arms away. You can block. You can do those techniques. But you know what I'm trying to say? It's like, let's say, for example, someone throws a swing punch at you, or throws some heavy punch at you, or some kind of strike, and you're able to just lift it up and cover yourself. It might not be the best techniques, but you're lifting the stick up, moving it around to cover yourself, right, like a block. Well, I'm not saying they're going to punch straight through it and break it like it's that thin, but I'm saying if you generate the power or get that twist or get that motion, and you might be able to even hurt them with your block. But what I'm trying to say is, it might be harder than your arm, but I'm just saying you might not need to have your arms that strong. You could block an attack with your arm. I'm saying when they're coming to attack you, you can cover up with your arms and just block like normally, like you were doing karate and Muay Thai, boxing, kickboxing, kung fu, whatever styles, taekwondo, boxing, Muay Thai. You can block with your arms and then put your arms up, get a good strong guard, just to cover against punches. You see what I'm trying to say? You see what I'm trying to say? It's like you don't necessarily have to block with something like that. That doesn't make much sense. Unless it's like in the ancient days when people were swinging swords and sticks at you, and you want to block with that to protect your body a bit more, so you use sticks and you're fighting with that anyway. But I'm saying in modern day, let's say, if you were going to defend yourself and you had some kind of heavier weapon to actually strike them, something, you've got to be realistic. It's just real self-defense. You don't just say, from my point of view, you don't just say like, oh, you want to learn some fancy move just for some skills, like how to block, how to strike. No, you want to learn some skills and have some ability, but you use your body when you use your body. But sometimes, if you're using, the objects, I'd say, then you'd be use the tool for what it's for, is what I'm trying to say. So you don't want to generate more power in the strike or whatever it's going to be. You know what I mean? Okay, so it's a very simple video there. I'm just talking to you a little bit there about that. Okay, we can talk about this some more in the future. I'm not trying to say that those techniques are useless. I'm not trying to say that that it's a useless weapon or a training tool. It's not effective. No, everything can be effective, but I'm saying you've got to think about it. You've got good footwork and you can move around. Someone's in close range just trying to hit you with their hands and you're able to block, fair enough. Because it's not like you're always, unless you're training a lot of training like sword fencing, sword training, or or if someone's coming at you with a baseball bat or a stick and you're going to use your stick to block, you see what I'm trying to say? You've got to be realistic. We're not trying to be fancy. If you're able to run behind a wall or a table or get away in some way, or they're chucking something at you, you can move out the way, cover yourself, motorbike helmet on or something, or just like chuck something at them, get away, run around the corner, run down some stairs, just do something to get, You're covering yourself. It's real life survival skills. If we're talking about real life survival skills, you can learn to utilize your bodily techniques better, I'm saying. And then in terms of striking, I'm not advising anyone to be hitting anyone with anything, but I'm just saying in terms of striking, you're saying in whichever angle you're coming in with a strike, whatever, you're using something, I'm saying in terms of the science of this, I'm saying you'd want to be like hitting something more stronger when you're something that's going to do some damage, not just doing a few fancy stick moves. But it depends on the weight of the object, what kind of object, the material of the object, and the actual skill behind it. But what I'm trying to say is skill. You need skill. It's not all about power, right? And the same with bare hand techniques and all that. Skill. The skill's what's going to do it in the end of the day. You don't have to use the most powerful techniques. The skill do it at the end of the day, you know, save you at the end of the day. But what I'm trying to say is you don't want to get too caught up in technical art and skill and fanciness, and then start doing weapons as well. Fancy, it's like you want to win, you want to survive. You're realistic about it. So just hitting the opponent in a vulnerable area, striking with anything. It's the same as hitting with your hands or whatever, punching or kicking. You want to make sure you get them the hell away from you, that they can't hurt you any further or kill you or worse, right? You see what I'm trying to say? Trying to get that, twiddle your stick into a funny angle to try to block, or just to do it when you might not need to. It might be more better to just duck out the way or cover with your hands blocking. But when you use the stick, you might want to strike. But then, is that the weapon? Is that the thing? Are you going to have that around the house? Or you're going to have to go and look for your Joe, or go and look for old grandpa's cane or martial arts cane? It's not the point, you know what I mean? But you might have something else there, you know, something you could just use in some way. So it's like you find a spray or a spray can on the shelf. You picked up a spray out of them to get them, to surprise them, you know, get them back or whatever. So it's about opening your mind, yeah. And it's about all the training. You need to train all those different arts and skills, definitely, and be realistic in that and treat it seriously and train for that. But in real life, you're going to need to focus more for real life, you know, and open your mind and concentrate more on being real, you know. That's the most important thing, I think. So using your abilities where they need to be and their power how it needs to be. You see what I'm trying to say? Because at the end of the day, you can't have like no skill and no ability and no power, and then you can't have just skill and power but you use it wrongly. You've got to balance them in different ways. I'm trying to say how, into what amount of power, into what kind of technique, what kind of skill with what kind of power. You see what I'm trying to say? So I'll finish this one. Take care, train hard and stay safe. That's just a little topic there off the top of my head. I've been thinking about that, as I say. Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is, Joe, bow, whatever, you know, sword, staff, sticks, you know, knife training, whatever, archery, gun training, whatever, philosophy of the mind, you know, mind psychology, you know, kickboxing, whatever you're doing, you still got to be, you know, be wise and think about that, you know. Train hard and stay safe. Thanks for watching. Take care, everybody. Thanks for joining me again.